Order food, sit down, don't move. That is your plans for today as we fly overhead of the world's most famous arena. Madison Square Garden on 33rd and 7th as Zuby Ejiofor and St. John's look to tip our day off as they prepare to take on the Iona Gales at 8-3. The former team led by Rick Pitino going 52-16. He's a winner, and you're a winner for choosing us today here on TNT Sports College Basketball Pregame presented by Vanda Pharmaceuticals. I miss these guys. It's been a few weeks. I got Jalen Rose, Jamal Mashburn, Bruce Pearl.
Government again?
Mash is in the building.
Monster Mash.
I hadn't seen you in a while, man, so I wanted to start it off right from the top. But, Coach, great slate of games today. Feeling good about what we got.
I like what we got on TNT and truTV today. Right? We got some teams in the Big East that are battling to see who's going to finish third. Because I think it's UConn and St. John's 1-2, but there's a bunch of teams, and a couple of them are on today, Villanova, Butler, Providence, who could finish third. But there are some incredible national matchups.
There are.
We have had more ranked against ranked teams so far in college basketball than the history of the game. The two games I got my eye on, Alabama and Arizona. Alabama all threes, Arizona all twos. In Birmingham, Alabama won't be a neutral site. That's going to be a great game of tempo. And the other one is Indiana, Kentucky. Charles Barkley and Dick Vitale on the call. The question is who's going to do the play-by-play and who's doing the color?
Man.
Who's going to get a word in edgewise?
Man, Dickie V, you crazy, bro. You crazy.
Mash, how you feeling?
Well, I'm going to piggyback on him about that third place slot for the Big East. I'm going to look at Seton Hall. Seton Hall and what Shaheen Holloway has done.
Big win in Maui.
Yeah, toughness, grit. I think they won 7 games last year. Really poor start on that side of it. But I think with his toughness, he has a possibility to move up to that third slot and be that unsung team. Arizona, in my opinion, is the best team in the country. But when I saw the eye test of Michigan, it made me kind of look at them a little bit differently. But I think the cream of the crop, in my opinion, is Arizona, Michigan, 1-2 or 1A, 1B, and also I would put Duke in that lineup as well.
And we'll have highlights of all the top games throughout the day as well.
You know what I'm looking for? Are we highlighting St. John's because of the players on the floor or because of the coach on the sideline?
We're going to have a good dialogue.
Right. They're 5-3.
Yes.
And playing at the Garden today against Iona. And on the baseline to say, we are New York's team. Right? So they're trying to rally a fan base and an alumni base to a team that Rick Pitino is leading and coaching, but are they actually delivering?
No.
Well, listen, all their losses were against really top teams. But again, with Rick Pitino, you mentioned it. What a storyline this is with his path to this place. He was coaching international, went to Iona, went 52-16. This is Iona's first game at Madison Square Garden in 7 years. When Rick Pitino coached Iona, they knocked off Alabama. They're looking to do that today. And as you see there at the bottom, these campuses are just 20 miles apart. For more on Rick Pitino and his rise back to prominence, we bring in our intrepid reporter, Andy Katz. How we doing, Andy?
We're doing great. You know, it was a great point that Jalen Rose just said, because this is so much about Rick Pitino. Rick Pitino was coaching in Greece, and Mash knows this, and he was very happy coaching in Greece. He actually was against Real Madrid. And the Iona president, athletic director, flew over to talk to him. This is right before COVID. And they convinced him, you need to come back to college basketball. And Rick told us this afternoon, he said, if there was any job he was going to come back to, it had to be in the New York area. He wanted to live back in New York, back in Westchester where he lived when he was coaching the Knicks. By the way, he wanted to be near Wingfoot. A little bit of sidebar there where he plays golf. But he took this job at Iona. It happened during COVID, so he had to deal with all that. But this job at Iona is the place that got him back in the game. And then, of course, from Iona, he goes to St. John's to revitalize this program. And in this season, he's had to sort of shuffle the deck a little, as you guys stated, losing a couple games already. Alabama on this floor, 2 in Las Vegas, including to Auburn, a game that they kind of would like back because that's the game that they thought maybe they should have won. But he's made a change in the starting lineup, starting Ian Jackson at the point guard for the first time as a point guard starting here. Remember, he was going with Dylan Darling, the transfer from Big Sky Country there. But he needed Ian Jackson, a New York native, to get in front of the basketball, to be that leader, that playmaker on both sides of the court. Big difference for Ian Jackson. He looks a little different. I just talked to him. First time since 7th grade that he has cut his hair. He just said he needed a reset, start this season anew with a fresh cut.
Amazing. Andy, thank you so much. Enjoy the game. We'll be hearing from you throughout the entire afternoon. Enjoy. I didn't even recognize that was Ian Jackson.
Yeah, that's
I'm so used to like the dreads coming over and all that stuff. You've been seeing this kid for a long time.
Yeah.
This also sounds like Rick Pitino motivation. I'm going to play the other guy. I'm going to have you come off the bench. Now he's saying he's, quote, 80% of the way to reaching the level he wants Jackson to hit. I feel like it was like an early season motivation.
Well, I would say one thing that's one of Rick Pitino's special gifts is teaching players how to play the game and developing. I think that's his superpower, in my opinion. He did it with me at the University of Kentucky. He's doing it with Ian Jackson to flip him from a 2-guard to a point guard. In my opinion, St. John's teams need a guy like Ian Jackson, almost like a guy like the Big East Player of the Year and R.J. Lewis. They miss R.J. Lewis. And when you talk about the new state of college basketball, you're going to have to re-recruit your kids. If you put R.J. Lewis on this particular team, St. John's is looking a little bit different. They might be still stagnant in the half court, but they're going to get a lot more open court opportunities. They're still going to hit their free throws and get to the free throw line. But to me, that's what Rick Pitino should hang his hat on. It's development of players to make them better for the next level.
I'm glad you brought up R.J. Lewis, and thank you for your honesty and your professionalism, because a lot of times if you play for Rick Pitino, you wouldn't bring that up. And I was somebody that was very loud about the mishandling, in my opinion, of the R.J. Lewis situation. He was 3 for 17 in the game. He was benched for the last 5 minutes of the game.
Against Arkansas in the NCAA.
Yes, he was the Big East Player of the Year. So the A side is what you said. If he was on this team, he would make a difference.
Correct.
But the B side is when people see how you treated him, they may not want to go play for you.
I'd agree with that.
You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
And it didn't work out for either side. Now, I like RJ, but he went undrafted.
Correct.
Ended up with the Jazz. Now he's two-way with the Boston Celtics. If he was still in college, to your point, and they would have found a way to make this relationship work, he would be playing in today's game. St. John's would be in the top 5. So to your point, Mash, it didn't work out for either side.
So that's one of the reasons why I went to the University of Kentucky. It was about Rick Pitino. It wasn't necessarily about the Kentucky program. It was what he could do for me to get me to the next level. Then after that, you get guys like Antoine Walker, Ron Mercer, Tony Delk. The reason why they wanted to come there was because they were getting developed to be a pro.
Right.
To play within that Kentucky system.
Right.
I think that should be Coach Pitino's selling card at this particular point. And he's 73 years old. I don't know how much time he has left coaching, but to me, you got to get other guys.
He got the energy of me.
7-10 months.
Coach, there was a reaction after last year. It seemed like they went out, they tried to improve three-point shooting. It's a different feel of the St. John's team, and it's a different way that they're scoring as well.
It is. And I think that right now with NIL and transfer portal, it's all about roster management and roster rebuilding. And sometimes the pendulum swings and there can be an overreaction. Last year, St. John's couldn't shoot the ball from 3. They thought that was their weakness. So they went out and got some three-point shooting. But when you talk about R.J. Lewis, Davion Smith, and Richmond, you're talking about dogs. You're talking about junkyard dogs. So what is Rick Pitino trying to do? He's trying to extend his defense. He's trying to press and trap a little bit more. Let's put you on the ball. Let's have 2 interceptors, and let's see if we can create tempo. All right, Ole Miss breaks pressure, but you got a shot blocker back there. He had 8 in this game. Ejiofor, hello. He's going to protect the rim. They're going to create transition. More full court pressure. Man on the ball. Stop. Right there, stop. Why is Ole Miss bringing 3 people up? The more people you bring up, the more defenders you stop right there. Look at how crowded the screen is right now. Sellers goes off the ball and double teams the ball. Get the ball in bounds, get out of the way, get up the floor. Here's old-fashioned half court. This is a ghost screen. There should be a switch. St. John's does not communicate. They don't execute your stretch. Ole Miss drive downhill, drive dodge. That's an open shot. That's a breakdown. But it creates a rebound. Dylan Mitchell's not the point guard. There is no point guard for St. John's. What does he do? He brings it. He gets it out to Jackson. Hoskins turns it down, reverse the ball. No point guard, but to put 5 guys out there that can handle the ball. I think the identity of this team is going to be this. Those 3 guards that are replacing those last 3 guards have got to toughen up. Long shots, long rebounds. I got to chase 50-50 balls down. St. John's first shot defense is really good, but they're getting beat on the boards. That's about effort. That's about hustle. That's not what these kids were recruited to do at St. John's. They were recruited to shoot basketballs. Rick Pitino's trying to make them a more complete player.
Do you think St. John's is a Sweet 16 team?
Not right
as
now.
constructed.
Not right.
I don't. I don't see them as. There's too many good teams out there. Not right now. I see them second best team in the Big East.
Pitino's teams in December are not the same as in March. 100%. So we will see what he can develop. That was their win over Ole Miss last Saturday. Today is only their second game in 17 days, and they're going to need a big game from Zuby Ejiofor, leading the team in points and rebounds and assists. And you know what? We have ourselves a national champion draft next. Stay with us.